Welcome back to the Blue North. Today, I'd like to talk about something that's going on in the United States, and it's a real problem. It's called truth, and we're not seeking it any longer. We haven't been finding it, we haven't been looking for it, we haven't been calling people on it when they haven't been telling the truth. We just no longer look for the truth in reporting. We don't have journalists anymore. We have people that are pushing agendas for parties that they support, like the Democrat Party. And why is this problematic? Well, because it's eroding the ability for Americans to make informed decisions about what's going on in the world around them. And it is the biggest problem facing America today. So, right now, we have Joe Biden, who doesn't get called on his behavior. He doesn't get called on his lies. He's not getting, sure, they give him a couple of Pinocchio awards, but what is that? That's a free pass. That's saying, yes, we understand he's lying. Yes, we understand he's not telling the truth, but we're not going to come out and say it. We're going to give him a Pinocchio award, kind of cutesy it up a little bit, and give him a free pass. So he was just on Jimmy Kimmel. He was lost in his conversation. If he doesn't have a prompter, if he isn't practiced, if he isn't told what to say, he's a mess. He's a disaster. He's a train wreck. So he goes on there and he starts talking. And when he has no facts for the lies that he's trying to perpetrate, he stops and says, well, or anyways, or some sort of catchphrase like that. And then just bypasses it. Right now, he's trying to say that he has the absolute best recovery of economic recovery of all time. Where? You shut down the oil and gas, you've shut down construction, you've shut down so many jobs with mask mandates and everything else. Finally, people are getting to get back to their lives, back to their jobs, back to the opening their stores. And you're claiming this as a victory? You're claiming these people getting back to their civil liberties as a victory for you and your party? And you're saying that your economy is the best ever? We're going into a recession. If you ask any economic mind, you'll find that they're going to tell you the same thing right now. There is a recession coming because of the policies that Biden has put in. When Obama was in power, he had the country in shambles. He just did. And then Trump comes in, does the opposite of what Obama does, gets all these economic booms and great economy and everything's going. Then Obama said, oh no, all of those are mine. All those victories that he's celebrating, those are my victories. Well, you know how you know they're not? Biden has brought back all of Obama's policies, and look where we are. We're right back in the crapper. So here we are, reaping the benefit of Biden and Obama's policies come back to haunt us, and he's going to claim victory, and he's going to lie and say, best economy ever, best economy, best, most widespread reach, most every. No, you don't. You have nothing of the sort. But lying is just not something that, well, it's not something that they're above. Hillary Clinton got fired from working on the Watergate investigation in removing a Republican from office. Now, he didn't need any help. Nixon did not need Hillary's help in making up evidence against him. He did a great job of getting himself removed from office all on his own. But Hillary still tried. That's one of the reasons that she was removed from working on that investigation. So now we see that Sussman just got off that he actually billed her, Hillary Clinton, for his visit to the FBI, where he gave them false information. How the jury found that not to be, guilty is beyond me. But it was pretty hand-picked jury there. You had one person on the jury that admitted to being a Democrat supporter, donating to them. You had one person on the jury whose child plays with Sussman's child. That wasn't a conflict of interest? I think it is. But regardless of that, Sussman did not get found guilty, and he should have, because you're talking about truth. He billed Hillary Clinton for the visit, and he gave misinformation to the FBI. Well, I mean, if that isn't something that is worthy of investigating, well, what is? But the problem is we have turned a blind eye to it. We have given a green light to this behavior. The Mueller report, 2.5-year investigation that came up with no evidence of Trump working with the Russians, and they still wanted to investigate and impeach and remove. We're not looking for the truth. We're simply looking for something that we can take from that where we can use it against a Republican. What happened after that? They impeached Donald Trump for a phone call to the Ukrainian president saying, hey, are we looking into this Hunter Biden thing? So the Democrats were not okay with that, and that's what they impeached Donald Trump over. But they were okay with Biden as the vice president going over there withholding $1 billion of aid to the Ukrainian people if they didn't fire and get rid of the prosecutor that had the balls to look into his son's behavior when he was over there. Well, that's too much. You have a vice president, a sitting vice president, bragging about withholding $1 billion if they didn't fire a prosecutor looking into his son's behavior. That's okay. But a phone call asking about that situation, that's too much. That's you're misusing your powers. We have to impeach you. Well, where are we? If one doesn't bother you, and it's way worse, and a simple phone call with a concern, are we looking into this? That is impeachable? No, it's not. I'm sorry. It just isn't. So the truth is no longer something that we're looking for. January 6th committee right now, Republicans are not allowed to submit some of their evidence or their viewpoints or their questions. Is the truth really something that they're looking for in this January 6th committee? Is it, or is there an agenda that they're trying to find, or an answer or a solution? They're trying to find anything to make Donald Trump unable to run. They're not looking for the truth. They're looking to make Donald Trump look bad here. And it's the same game plan. We're going to play it all over the TV, and we're going to do it all over the news and everything else, because the news will help them, right? They're very left-leaning. So they're going to use the same sort of method that they did with the Russian collusion as they are with the January 6th committee. So is truth something that we're afraid of? You'd have to ask. Or is the truth something that we no longer care about, or it's no longer what we pursue? I think one of the things we should be investigating is Eric Swalwell, when he had Christine Fang, a Chinese spy, working in his office. I think maybe we should see what the long range, what all information she got her hands on, and investigate what's the potential problem or leak that or even the Chinese, how they got that information, what information they got. There's a lot to investigate there. Why aren't we investigating that? Why aren't we trying to find the truth there? We're just simply told, well, there was very limited what she got. Yeah, but what did she get? She obviously did. And why is Swalwell still sitting on the Intelligence Committee if he's allowed such a breach to happen under his watch in his office? Well, I'm a little dumbfounded by that. Well, these are the things that we should be looking at. Stuff like Eric Swalwell, stuff like what Biden's saying. How come there's no fact checking on Biden? Everything Trump said, they fact checked, and then they finally just banned him from the social media platforms. Well, why is Biden getting a free pass on saying stuff, and the White House has to continuously come out and clarify what he's saying? If he has to be clarified, I mean, even they understand that they need to have a little bit more honesty and truth in their statement. They have to have a little bit more integrity in there. He can't just say whatever he wants. They have to clarify him constantly. Oh, and then he's upset by it. He can't believe that there's clarification needed or going on behind his back. Well, You're not saying things accurately. You're not saying things properly. You're not saying the truth. I'm not saying that he's purposely lying. I'm saying maybe he's confused, but there's clarification needed. If this was the Republican Party, would they be allowed or given the same sort of benefit? No, because they're shut down and they're silenced. We're not looking into the truth of things anymore, people. We're just allowing one party. There's only two parties in the United States. One party's allowed to do and say whatever they want with such little pushback from the media, from Hollywood, from the celebrities. Joy Behar right now on The View is just a fountain of misinformation. She's saying that every time a Democrat gets into power, they get this great economy, and then the Republicans come along and ruin it. Well, it's more times than not the other way around. Sorry, Joy. That's not how it works. Usually Republicans are the ones that come along and fix problems like Trump did after Obama. And if you need proof of that, look at Biden. We're right back into Obama-like policies. And guess what? You're back at the art of trying to tell everybody that they're good. All these policies are good, but they're not. You have to bullshit people in order to get these policies to even remotely sound like they're positive. Sitting in your show saying that all Republicans support massacres and white supremacy. Well, not too long ago, Robert Byrd was the one that was, I think he was Hillary and Biden's best friend. Well, when he came to Washington, there was no place to preach and to hate and to go to share in his hatred. He had to start a chapter of the KKK. If you want to look for hatred, for the supremacy, white supremacy, look no further than Hillary's mentor. The Republicans are not the party of white supremacy, and they are not the party of supporting massacres. Why is this information, why is this statement not being, there's no evidence of that. Right now, the Republicans have a Safe Schools Act that's not being addressed by the Democrats at all. I think it's on the floor of the House ready to be voted on, but they won't bring it up. Why? Because it's a win for the Republicans in a midterm election. There is definitely a need for some gun restrictions in the United States. Absolutely 100%. But why do places like Texas have so many people with weapons? Because you have Beto O'Rourke running around telling everybody that it's safer and better if an open border and no guns. Are you kidding me? An open border? You see what crosses the border? You guys didn't want the truth when Trump said those aren't doctors and lawyers running across that border in the middle of the night. Those are murderers and rapists and drug dealers. That's what they're finding. That's what they're catching. So what are we doing about the border right now? Are we looking for the truth? No, we're not. We're going to go, Biden administration's trying to go after those border guards that they lied and said were using whips and whipping these migrants coming across. There was no whips, but they're still trying to punish them. The Biden administration is still looking to punish those border agents, even though they know they didn't have whips, they didn't use whips. Then they try turning around saying, oh, it was the horse's reins. Do you know how close you have to be to use the horse's reins to whip somebody? Well, the problem is, and the truth of the matter is, those horses made a difference. Those horses and those horseback riders were making a difference. They were actually quelling those people coming across. So we had to attack them because they think that open borders and all that, they're trying to get more votes by as many migrants coming across and getting citizenship and fighting for reform of the Election Act so that they can have these people give citizenship and voting rights right away. Well, you're just looking and hoping that these people are going to vote Democrat because you need the help. But you're not looking at the truth. So you're going to look at the investigation into the border guards and find that they didn't use whips. Another waste. But you're going to use the media. You're going to use CNN and all of these other places to promote your version of this. You're going to say, yes, we're looking into these border guards who mistreated people with whips, even though you know there are no whips used. So where's the truth? We're not looking for it, because the truth isn't going to help the Democrat Party. It's not going to help them when it comes down to it and they say those horseback riders were making a difference. But instead, you're focusing on, hey, they were using whips. No, they weren't. Well, they were using their reins. No, they weren't. Like, the reins only go so far off to each side of a horse. They're designed to pull the horse's head by the rider. There's just a comfort level of how much room you have. They're not designed to be whipping around. Well, anyways, they're not looking at the truth. So there's so much of this going on. AOC going down there when Trump was in power to the border, holding her stomach and crying and talking about how uncomfortable it was and how terrible it was that these kids were in cages and in concentration camps. We don't call it that anymore, even though they know that Trump's worst month was 16,000 crossings. Illegal crossings in 1 month. I think his worst was 16,000. Do you know what the worst one under Biden is? I bet you it's in the 300,000s. So why are these people that were concerned about human life and about human dignity and about their conditions and the humanity, why are they not down there right now? Why are they not down there holding their stomach saying, holy smokes, there's like 300%, 300,000 more people a month coming across? Why are they not down there concerned about how they're being treated now? There was no truth in their concern. They were only interested in making Trump look bad. Now they don't want to go down to the border because by going down there, they're going to make their leader look bad. They're going to make their policies look bad. They're going to make that Mayorga look bad. So we can't go down there. Now we're stuck. We can't actually go down there because we will have to report the truth. You see, there's so much being attacked here, right? They're using so much to avoid the truth, and it's scary. It should concern everybody. It should concern every person. And in the midterm elections right now, there needs to be major, major changes to the House and the Senate. It's just, there's no concern for human life. They're trying to change. They're trying to attack Trump. They're trying to attack every Republican. They're trying to they don't even care that Kavanaugh might have had an assassination attempt on his life. That doesn't matter. They're not going to vote on anything to help with those justices, because it's not the Democrat justices that are being attacked. It's not the Democrat justices that are under any kind of conflict right now. It's Roe versus Wade. Democrats want to support abortion right up to the late terms, right to the day of the day of birth. They want to be able to abort children right to the very last second. And those conservative judges on the Supreme Court are in the way of doing that. So why are they not passing laws? Why are they not voting to allow these people protection? Why are they not enforcing the law that keeps people from protesting outside of their house? What's going on? Why would you not? Well, it's because it affects their agenda. There's a lot at stake here, people. You really have to open your eyes. You really have to get informed properly before you go and vote. There is so much that's being attacked here, and it's not just a conspiracy theory. It's not just a right-wing conspiracy. It's actually the truth. You won't find it. You have to seek the truth. One of the places that you can, Decency and Deception, my book. I write about a lot of these things in it. Grab a copy. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it in Canada. You can get it in the United States. Look for it anywhere that books are sold. It's 60,000 different bookstores it's available to. Again, Decency and Deception by D.L. Bailey. I write about a lot of these things. So people, inform yourselves, look into these issues. It's the midterms. You need to go and show the House and the Senate that you need to get integrity back. You need to find the truth. You need to get back to where people's lives are important. I'm going to follow more of this right here on the Blue North. So hit that notification, follow along, and go pick up Decency and Deception by D.L. Bailey. And we'll see you again right here on the Blue North.